Hello, good people. This is vk3sl. Welcome to our test missions for another Friday night, where we sort of mine the archives. Got a special guest tonight, so looking forward to having EO with us shortly, and go on to get a cup of tea. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having some exotica, some excellent music from EO's database. And yeah, so we'll start with that shortly. But before doing so,
Good evening.
And hello to you, Frank. Hi. Yeah, EO's here tonight, so you're going to come in and join us for the session with some selections.
Wonderful.
So that should be good fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he's gone to get a cup of tea, and I will start off with a recording of Rosita Serrano, the Chilean nightingale. And this is a recording made in the 1950s. It's a track called I Love. What is it called? Let's check the label. Yeah, it's called A Love Like Ours, and it's on an old AWA Radiola 78.
Pourquoi il est tant des romans, Pierre Benoît au pôle Morand, pensait-il trouver dans leurs livres? De quoi rêver des nuits des jours, quand les plus beaux romans d'amour, nous sommes en train de les vivre? N'avons-nous pas assez lutté pour vivre ensemble et nous aimer? Ferme les yeux et voyez-toi, car tu sais aussi bien que moi. Un amour comme les nôtres, il n'en existe pas deux. Ce n'est pas celui des autres, c'est quelque chose de mieux. Sans me parler, je sais ce que tu veux me dire. À mon regard, tu comprends très bien que je désire. Pourquoi demander aux autres un roman plus merveilleux, un amour comme le nôtre? Il n'en existe pas deux. C'est certain, tannant des pays lointains, sous des ciels bleus de bleu rivage. Oui, mais là-bas, tu trouvais-on des rues, des taxis, des maisons. Chérie, méfie-toi des mirages. Tiens, regardez notre intérieur, des livres, des chansons, des fleurs, et mets des bras pour te bercer, et mon cœur pour toujours t'aimer. Un amour comme le nôtre, il n'en existe pas deux, et n'est pas celui des autres, c'est quelque chose de mieux. Quand me parler, je sais ce que tu veux me dire. À mon regard, tu comprends très bien ce que je désire. Pourquoi demander aux autres un roman plus merveilleux, un amour comme le nôtre? Il n'en existe pas deux. Na 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 na.
That was Serrano, Rosita Serrano, back in the immediate post-war period. Very beautiful voice, natural coloratura, and she made many songs, and she was known as the Chilean nightingale. Anyhow, we're testing here on 160.
She was lovely, wasn't
Yeah,
she?
beautiful voice, lovely syrupy voice, very much, the cabaret style. Yeah, she had a bit of a murky background actually, but
Well, no one's perfect.
no, that's right. And although I think she was exonerated in the end, but she did perform in Germany.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and ended up in South America. And some people sort of thought she was exonerated and others didn't, so it's one of those stories that never
She was Chilean by birth, was she?
Yes, I think she was. Yes, indeed, yes, she was. And she had a beautiful voice, but she was exploited by the Nazis. And
As were many others.
yeah. But,
Interesting chat we had tonight with Frank about all that.
yeah, look, it was interesting. It was very interesting indeed. It's one of the joys of doing this is to when these stories sort of unfold and the connections we make with musicians who were interned or had Australian connections, and Frank's own heritage was brought to the fore, which I thought was most interesting.
Yes, it was.
It was great. Yeah, so look forward to hearing more of that.
Indeed.
Yeah. Anyhow, I was just getting a cup of tea, and so while I'm waiting, I might play the other side of this disc.
I'm just going to go and get one myself.
Yeah, sure. Okay, side B, yes, sung in French, it says. Rosita Serrano. Say to Me I Love You is the name of the tune, and it's Jacques Tromer. Tromer is the conductor of the orchestra. I'm not sure whether this was made in South America or was it made in Europe. It has no other information, but it is a Telefunken radiola.
Very appropriate to be having some French, of course, today.
Yes.
It's being Bastille Day.
It is, absolutely. It certainly is. Good, thank you for bringing that to the fore. Definitely.
Moi je vous aime tellement. Prêtez-vous ce soir, je suis ma tranquille, car votre désir se fait plus ardent. Ne profitez pas de mon cœur fragile. Patientez un peu, nanana. Alors une fois, dites-moi, je vous aime. Pour moi rien n'est plus doux. Et moi toujours les vivre, ils sont bons par vous. Je l'avoue quand bien même, diriez sans jour. Dites-moi, je vous aime, je vous croirai toujours. Notre rendez-vous toujours dit s'achève. Il faut se quitter. C'est dans la main et pour prolonger cet instant du rêve avant de me dire non, alors à demain. Dites-moi je vous aime, pour moi rien n'est plus doux, c'est moi toujours le même. Qu'ils sont bons par vous. Je l'avoue quand bien même vous mentiriez un jour. Dites-moi, je vous aime. Je vous croirai toujours. Je l'avoue comme bien même, vous mentiriez un jour. Dites-moi chérie, je vous aime. vous croirez
That was Rosita Serrano there, and another recording made for Telefunken back in the 1950s. Well, Eo, it's good to have you back.
Oh, hi, Steve. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. It's great. And we've got Frank on the line as well.
Hi.
Frank?
Yeah, so you're right there, Frank.
Yes.
Yay. So, yeah, welcome, Eo, and we will look forward to some selections. It's been ages, actually. It's been like
A couple of months, I think.
Yeah, it has been a while. So I think what we were playing last time you were here.
I think we were playing a few Eurovision selections.
I think we did. That's right. We were sort of celebrating the It was the groundswell before the current.
Yes,
program.
and now that's all been and done, and I'm sort of, left floundering.
You're babble popping now.
I'm babble popping. I'm sort of having to get back into, sort of reorienting myself with all the charts. It's sort of trying to figure out, who's doing what again, and which artist do I usually flock to for some good songs? So it's been fun.
It must affect the status quo quite profoundly. The Eurovision contest. It must sort of change the whole flavour. And are there sort of mimic artists, or are there sort of trends that emulate directly out of the contest?
Well, so I would say particularly the artists who've done quite well at that year's Eurovision will usually, they'll release something immediately after, sort of keep their fame alive. So sometimes we play quite a few things from artists who've just competed in the months following, because they're doing their big summer tours and they're releasing all sorts of things.
Yes.
But I would say it's less the general music trends being affected by Eurovision artists, and more whatever trends come up in the next 6 months will affect Eurovision next year.
Yeah.
So you can, it's always sort of fun to sort of see who's emerging in various music scenes, and sort of wonder, will we see you soon at Eurovision, and what sort of sounds is Europe really vibing with now, and is that going to sort of be reflected in the next contest?
I imagine it's just as much about the politics as well. That's probably affects the sort of the cultural
and
sensitivities.
certainly the politics of the national broadcaster in question,
right?
And sort of what kind of image that broadcaster wants to portray.
Yes.
And that's sometimes in conflict with the real sort of varied and complex music scenes of a country. And then sometimes it is indeed reflective of those music scenes. It's very interesting, and not all countries sort of play it the same way every year.
No, it would be an interesting trend to watch. Babble Pop's all about European music too, isn't it?
Oh, it's music from all around the world. As long as it's not in English, we will happily play it. So yeah, and we do try to branch out quite a bit from just Europe, because now suddenly we've got 6 months where we've got this opportunity to play music from in Asia, in Africa, and South America.
Sure.
We play some First Nations artists here in Australia, and so we really sort of seize the opportunity to
for sure
do it while we can.
Yes, definitely, until the next Eurovision groundswell starts. It's usually 6 months on, 6 months off, isn't it?
Yeah, we usually do January to June is Eurovision season, and then July to sort of
following
December. Yeah. I forgot what months were for a second there.
Yeah, sure. Oh, that's great. Well, look, we've got a couple more 78s before we'll give you a chance to dial up a few tracks for us. And Frank just reminded us it is Bastille Day today. And I had in the pile a gypsy artist called Noy Gorodinsky, and he had a band at the Barbizon Plaza Hotel back in the day, just after the war. And so Barbizon, I think, is in France, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right there, Frank?
I think so. I think so,
yeah. He had Noy Gorodinsky had a gypsy orchestra, very flavoured ensembles, really good. But there's one of his records in the pile here, so we'll play that. And it's 2 tracks. On one, it's the Hymn to the Sun by Rimsky-Korsakov and Flight of the Bumblebee. So, yeah, a little bit of dynamicism from Noy Gorodinsky. And I'd say this record came out just after the Second World War. There we go. That was Noy Gordinski and his Barbizon Plaza Hotel Orchestra. And, some faves there. The Hymns of the Sun and Flight of the Bumblebee. But there's lots of gypsy music from Noy Gordinski online, so I might save some of those up for future missions. I was sampling
Sounds
some
good.
earlier. They're good fun. Yeah, really good. Yeah, so we're getting ourselves organised here and planted.
It's fabulous. Such a spirited sound.
Yeah, it is. It's it. Sound of strings. Gypsy strings is always a good sound.
It's so alive. There's actually a one of the all-time great ribbon routines in rhythmic gymnastics was done to Flight of the Bumblebees, though not that particular recording.
Okay.
Natalia Godunko of Ukraine in the Athens Olympics in 2004.
Oh,
where she,
really?
Yeah, and a
Okay.
very, as you can imagine, very busy, very, very fast routine.
I can only imagine. You have to tell us more about what would the routine involve. It'd have to be very animated.
It was, she was a gymnast who was known for really fast movements, and she could do a lot of, there's a particular style of move called risks, which is where you do, you throw the apparatus in the air and you do a huge amount of sort of various types of rotations under it and then catch it.
And then catch it on the fly.
Yeah, and she could do some of the hardest risks because she was such a fast mover, and she did 4 rolls on the floor underneath this ribbon throw, which it's a move I've never seen repeated before
Really?
or since. Just extraordinary stuff. And she got she was the very last person to perform in that entire final in the Olympics and got a standing ovation from the crowd.
That's wonderful. She got a medal, I assume.
She did not. She came fourth, just out of range.
Really?
Oh.
Okay. Wow, what a routine. Sounds incredible. To the Flight of the Bumblebee. Yay.
Excellent stuff.
Good one. All right. Well, we'll have our little oblique nod to Eurovision because I've got a disc lined up of Lael Anderson. She was sort of a cabaret singer in Germany, and she's sort of retired by wartime. She wasn't doing much, but after the war, she sort of reinvented herself, and she competed in the, I think, 1957 Eurovision, one of the first.
Yeah, that was the second year
Second
it ran.
one, was it? Yeah. Okay. And I don't think she got a place, but she gave it a burl.
Good for her.
Yeah, I think she was in her 60s then.
Oh.
Yay. So, yeah, Lau had a go. But I sort of, we'll play one of her earlier records. Her big hit was Lily Marlene, which was another tune that was exported by both sides during the war.
She was.
Yeah. And
Most interesting character.
yeah, absolutely. And so I've played that quite a few times, but I've thought we'd sample the other side, and it's a track called Rain in April. So we'll hear another Radiola Telefunken record from the, I don't know, when? This would be from just after the war, I imagine. And Lael Anderson with Rain in April.
Regen im April und alle Herzen sind noch still, weil ja noch keines lieben will. Regen im April, Regen im April. Doch am Waldesbach, da sind schon Frühlingsstimmen wach. Bald wird es blühen hundertfach, tausendfach. Ein kleiner Vogel sitzt im Baum und singt sein erstes Liebeslied. Doch es klingt noch müd, denn die Welt ist trüb. Regen im April, auch mein Herz träumt und ist noch still, weil's auf den Frühling warten will. Regen
Vogel sitzt im Baum und singt sein erstes Liebeslied. Doch es klingt noch müd, denn die Welt ist trüb. Regen im April, auch mein Herz träumt und ist noch still, weil es auf den Frühling warten will. Regen im April.
And that was Lael Anderson and her performance of Rain in April. And we're just reading about Lily Marlene, the other side of this, and it's probably worth playing it because it is a really controversial song. And I do recall discussing this earlier, but the poignancy of the story is it's really quite relevant to our recent discussions on the program. And it says that, she recorded this in the late 30s, and the Nazi officials did not approve of the song, and Goebbels prohibited it from being played on radio. Anderson was not allowed to perform in public for 9 months, not just because of the song, but because of her friendship with Rolf Lieberman and other Jewish artists she'd met in Zurich. In desperation, she reportedly attempted suicide. Anderson was so popular, however, that the Nazi government allowed her to perform again, albeit subject to several conditions, and one was that she would not sing Lily Marlene.
Yeah.
But later on, Goebbels forced her to make a military version of the song, which he recorded in 1942. And the remaining war years, Anderson had one minor appearance in a 1942 Nazi propaganda movie. And so it's a pretty awful tale, really. It sort of shows how someone can be manipulated. She was probably caught up in the machine. But look, the song in question was a huge hit.
Yeah, it was.
And
as you said, but on both sides, I think.
yeah. So I think, just to sort of make the point, we'll play it.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah, I know very well.
it's a beautiful song. But we'll hear this, and this is the side A really of the track. So, yeah, Lael Anderson and Lily Marlene.
Vor der Kaserne, vor dem großen Tor, stand eine Laterne und steht sie noch davor. So wollen wir uns da wiedersehen, bei der Laterne wollen wir stehen, wie einst Lili Marleen, wie einst Lili Marleen, wie einst Lili Marleen. Unsere beider Schatten sah wie einer aus, dass wir so lieb uns hatten, das sah man gleich daraus. Alle Leute sollen es sehen, wenn wir bei der Laterne stehen, wie einst Lili Marleen, wie einst Lili Marleen, wie einst Lili Marleen. Schon rief der Posten, sie bliesen Zapfenstreich. Es kann 3 Tage kosten, Kamerad, ich komm ja gleich. Da sagten wir auf Wiedersehen, wie gerne würd ich mit dir gehen, mit dir, Lili Marleen, mit dir, Lili Marleen. Aus dem stillen Raume, aus der Erde Grund, hebt mich wie im Traume dein verliebter Mund. Wenn sich die späten Nebel drehen, werd ich bei der Laterne Laterne stehen, wie einst Lili Marleen, wie einst Lili Marleen. Wie einst Lili Marleen, wie einst Lili Marleen.
And Lael Anderson and her big hit.
I think Marlene Dietrich had a big version of it.
I think she did too. You're right. Yeah.
I think that was the one that they've sort of played in the West after the war.
Yeah.
That's what I certainly remember hearing as a kid.
Okay. Yeah, there's quite a bit written about this song, and what's fascinating about it is that it was very popular with the German troops, but I think it was broadcast from Belgrade, and the Allied troops also were listening to the song, and it became popular with them as well. So, yeah, you're off frequency there, Frank. Yeah. Yeah, so isn't that amazing to think that both music sort of transcended the actions?
And there was something in that song that just spoke to.
Yeah, it's sort of, I don't know, it's easy listening, I suppose, and it provides some comfort. Yeah.
Hello, Steve.
Yeah, you're right there. Yep. Yeah, that's fine. So, yeah, look, it's interesting to sort
It had
of...
English words to it as well.
Okay, I haven't heard...
Underneath the lamplight.
Oh, okay. Right. Sure. Yeah.
I'm sure that you could
Yeah, well,
get that
look,
if you wanted.
what we'll do is we'll sort of flesh it out and see if we can find the other versions of it and get the English lyrics as well and come back to it, because it's beautiful song, but with some rather strong connections with the times.
Yeah, very much. Marlene Dietrich had the English lyrics.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
I mean, no doubt others did as well.
Yes. Yeah. That's interesting. Anyhow, so that was Lael Anderson, and we also recognise her input with Eurovision much later on in the 50s. I think she went in a couple of times, and in the 60s as well. Yeah, she had a couple of hits in the later period. But okay, we'll handball over to you, EO. So we'll wind down the turntables, and you've got your phone at hand.
I do. I've got quite an eclectic selection this evening.
Oh, good.
I've spent the last few months, I haven't had a lot of money, so I haven't been able to go out as much as I'd normally like to. And I think my music tastes as of late have reflected my desire to go out and dance and party a little bit.
Okay, yes.
So I've been listening to a lot of music that I, may, I guess, be subconsciously desiring to hear in the context of a club or something like that.
Yeah.
So quite a lot of the songs sort of within that vein.
Okay, great.
Yeah, but I've, of course, got quite a few things that are not in English. A couple that are.
Okay, we don't mind.
Yeah, and I thought I'd kick it off with a Ukrainian duo who actually they were recommended by someone on Twitter.
Yeah.
A while ago. It's a duo of Yulia Urina and Stas Koryolov.
Mm-hmm.
And Yulia Yunina is actually Russian, and she's been living in Ukraine for the past decade or so.
Okay.
And she's very much this group sort of combined a lot of traditional Ukrainian folk with sort of more pop and the sort of electronic, in particular EDM music. And because of, Yulia was mostly, especially one in this group, only singing in Ukrainian and very much drawing on Ukrainian folk tradition. And she's sort of one of the few Russian artists in Ukraine who've very much been, since the war broke out, everyone's gone, well, she's basically Ukrainian. She's been very pro-Ukraine in the conflict, and I seriously doubt she'd be welcome back in Russia.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a little interesting sort of example
Sure.
of that there.
Yeah.
The group sort of they broke up in 2020. Two of them decided they wanted to do different things, but they had a few hits, and this was one of their earlier ones. I think it came out around 2017 or 2018, and it's called Reblia. I've really been quite enjoying this. It sort of starts off in one very folksy direction and goes into another one. A bit unexpected.
Okay, we wait. Thanks, EO.
Yes.
And I should mention that we're testing on 160 and on UHF VK3SL.
And vk3jr.
Okay, wow.
There we go.
Yeah, we're just talking about this, and there is something unsettling. It's sort of, I don't know, it's got that Spartan European, Eastern European feel to it.
Yeah, it's two very sort of distinctly Eastern European sounds that just you don't really expect to be merged together. That very traditional folk singing with just club music.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, it's great. So, do you know what they're doing now with the?
Oh, I know she went by Yu for a while and was doing, she sort of went into more traditional pop, and then people didn't like that, so I think she's doing something else now. Not sure what he's up to.
Okay.
I haven't found anything. I think he was sort of more the producer and sort of like multi-instrumentalist, so I believe he may be doing things with sort of other groups.
Okay.
I'm not too sure.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, we've got to try another interface now because we
Yes.
didn't. We had RF getting into the system there, which was a bit of a problem. But we might have to do a bit of testing on the fly here. So we've got a new lead, another channel open on the desk. But I'm just hoping we've got enough. Just got enough volume on this channel.
You want me to do a little test?
Yeah, maybe we should just test a little first. Do you want
Alright.
to just you just tell us when you're on?
Yeah, I'm on now.
Okay. Yeah, that's better.
Sounding much better.
Yeah, that's much better, isn't it? Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, that's fine. So is your volume full on your phone?
It's all the way up.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. That should be good. Because I don't have a tone control on this channel. But yeah, the other one was problematic. It was RF was getting in and I didn't have an easy recourse. Yeah, so what's next on the list?
Well, I've got another track in Ukrainian by Sviatoslav Vakarchuk, who is best known as the lead singer of Okean Elzy, which is a very famous rock band in Ukraine. Like they're sort of one of the rock bands in Ukraine. They've performed all over Europe, and I think in the States as well, and they're very, very well known in the scene.
Are they a touring band? Are they sort of they're out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think, and they've also been. I believe a few members of the band are currently like in the military fighting.
Oh, really?
But I believe they've also done a few fundraising tours, as have a lot of artists in Ukraine, and that's actually one of the few ways that men who are of military age are allowed to leave Ukraine at the moment is if they're sort of cultural ambassadors for music or something similar.
Yeah.
They're allowed to go on tour for specific periods of time.
Yep.
To raise money. So I think they've done some of that. But yes, I do believe that at least a couple of members of the band are not, currently active in that musical sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the what's the name of the group?
The group is Okean Elzy, but this is actually a solo track by the lead singer that I just sort of stumbled across a while ago, and I really liked it. It's got this sort of cowboy, almost sort of Wild West feel,
Oh, wow.
Sort of listen to it. It's not a sort of sound I, usually expect from Ukrainian music, but I
Yeah.
sort of feel like I'm drinking whiskey by a fire with my horse by me on the prairie,
Really? Okay.
Yeah, wonderful stuff.
All right. Well, this is always expect the unexpected on this program.
The song is called Oberi.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Не бери сумно, не бери до голови, не зважай, все переживи, не кажи нікому, як воно тебе пече, журба на море потече, і нехай десь там буде дощ, і нехай десь там паде сніг, але твоя сила жива, бо давно в тебе є, бо давно в тебе є оберіг. Не бери чужого, не бери до голови, не дрімай, зірку уяви, не кажи нікому, як вона тобі горить, мрія в небо полетить, dесь там буде сніг, але твоя сила жива, бо давно в тебе є, бо давно в тебе є оберіг. І нехай десь там буде дощ, і нехай десь там паде сніг, але твоя сила жива, бо давно в тебе є, бо давно в тебе є оберіг. Оберіг. Оберіг.
Yeah, thank you. I really like that song.
It's not the sort of thing I usually listen to, but it's something about this has really sort of resonated.
Yeah, I like it sort of plaintive. It's really laid back, and I got Sting vibes when I was listening to that.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of Sting in him, isn't there? And certainly in the band too. I think
sort of
that influence.
that earthy quality to his voice. Yeah. Well, what did you think of it, Frank? Did you enjoy that? You still with us there? Might be Frank's, might be a busy man. But I thought that was great. Yeah, good selection. So it's atypical, is it, of his usual?
Well, yeah. I mean, certainly, I've only really heard his stuff with the group, and that's big sort of rock anthems.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not too familiar with more of his solo work, so he may have more songs like this. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, sort of folky, ballady.
Yeah, it's got that lovely sort of traditional ballad quality in there.
Definitely. No, it was great. Good selection. Yeah, it reminds me of Czech clubs. We've been reflecting a lot on Czech times because Olivia's just come back. And, we used to go and hear a lot of Czech folk music. But often it had that lovely laid-back feel and, intimate sort of settings and things. But, yeah, I enjoyed that. That was good.
It's the sort of thing you feel like you should be hearing through a haze of sort of smoke from a pipe.
Yeah, sort of the dusty club scene. No, just a quiet folk club perhaps.
Oh,
yeah,
lovely.
Yeah, low ceilings. Definitely. Yeah, so what else have we got?
Well, I thought I'd throw in a little bit of sorry, this may be a bit of a gurgly throat. But a bit of Italo disco. This is coming from 1978.
Oh my gosh!
Yes,
78.
70. Wait, no, I've never heard those words around here before.
Never. Well, that's a good year.
I can't really find much out about the group. It's called La Bellini. But this track was a bit of a hit during its time, and it's sort of very emblematic of, Italo disco in that era. And it's called Satan in Love.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Some real sleaze to this one.
Great name for a song, Satan in Love.
Oh, there we go.
Dentro e fuori la mia pelle, dall'inferno alle stelle, puoi sentirmi ricadere per bruciare e poi volare. Ah, 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 ah. Satan in Love. Prima piace, poi fa male. Saturday in love. Dentro e fuori la mia pelle, dall'inferno alle stelle, poi sentirmi ricadere per bruciare, poi volare. Saturday Love. Malvivente ma poeta, se raggiunge la sua meta, mi gratta e poi mi vende, se ne ha voglia mi riprende.
Theo, that ticks the box.
Oh.
I love it. 70s disco with a bit of weight.
Something really crunchy with that. Wow.
Yeah, I know. I love it. It's a great choice. Oh, yeah. From 1978. Oh, yeah.
There's just
Bring it on.
so much just phenomenal Italian music, and that late 70s, early 80s period
Yep.
in Italy was just, there's this creative explosion where all these different genres kind of hit Italy at the same time. You had disco, you had ska, you had reggae, you had, and there are a few artists in particular who really just went wild and sort of introduced them to the mainstream Italian music scene all at once. Like, it must have been just an incredible period to be listening to the radio in Italy.
It would have been
Oh.
at that time. Amazing. Yeah. So were the Italians really big in Eurovision at that time? In the 70s, 80s?
Trying to think.
So
They won in, oh God, they won once in 64.
Yep.
They won in 1992, and then they won a couple of years ago in 2021. So
Okay.
not too much. That was, it was sort of the French-speaking nations that were really dominant during the 60s and the 70s.
Sure.
Luxembourg, France, Monaco, those sorts.
Sure.
Switzerland as well.
Okay. Yay. Oh, that was fun. Good one.
Yeah, but the Sanremo Music Festival, which was actually the contest that Eurovision was based off of, it's been running a lot longer than Eurovision. It's in Italy, it's used as a selection for Eurovision, so whoever wins Sanremo can go to Eurovision if they want to. Some people, go, oh no, I couldn't possibly. I'm better than that. And they don't go, and then they have to figure out another way to send an artist. But But yeah, so Sanremo runs every year, and it's just this period of 5 days of total musical chaos, and the program runs well past midnight. Usually till about 2 a.m, and everyone in Italy, stays up to watch it, and it's great. I watch it every year. I sort of marathon it. Yeah,
it's the Sanremo
Yeah, I don't
contest.
understand a word that's going on. It's sort of almost like a variety show. You've got these,
Yeah.
things like usually 26 or 27 songs compete, but you've got interval acts and you've got comedy and you've got people, coming on from charities or things to talk about social issues, all these sorts of things. And
Yeah.
don't understand a word that's being said, and there's always things that go wrong on stage.
Yeah. Really?
Yes.
Oh,
It's
tell us what sort of
Oh
disasters.
God! There was this this artist who won last year.
Yeah.
He came back for sort of performance because he was the previous winner.
Yeah.
And he was having in-ear issues, and there were because Sanremo, it's the city of flowers, so there's always these really wonderful elaborate flower sort of decorations on stage, and he's a young guy. He's like 19 or 20, and his in-ear wasn't working, and he was, he sort of stopped singing, and the track kept going, but he was pointing in his ear and sort of, yelling stuff back, to backstage, and nothing was happening. So then he started just destroying all the flower installations on stage and ripping them up, kicking them roundy. Yeah, it was just absolute chaos, and the audience was in stunned silence. And then once he finished, they all started booing him because it was, it was really immature. It was really unprofessional. There's in-ear issues all the time on Sanremo because nothing works, and most people just power through.
Yeah.
But he
He had a tanty on stage.
he had a massive tantrum, and I was sitting at home watching this. It's the morning in Australia, and I was gobsmacked seeing this live. I couldn't believe my eyes.
This guy going berserk on stage.
Yeah, and then the host came on, and one of the hosts is this guy who's almost 80, and and he started bringing a broom on, trying to sweep it up like a
God.
real little nono, and it was marvelous. So yeah, stuff like that happens every year. There's always drama.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. So
Fantastic.
the Italian music scene is one of my favorite in the entire world.
Sounds really dynamic.
Oh yes.
Good one. All right. So moving down the list.
Yeah, I've got a rare thing on here, an English language track.
English? No, English tracks. I haven't ever heard you play an English track.
I know. I feel a little ashamed.
We did hear the English version of Moscow.
Oh yes, well, but that was so long ago.
It
You'd
was.
think I'd
It
moved
was-
past it by now, but
it was so 1981.
embarrassing.
That was the last time we played an English track. Although we did hear the German version too. Yeah. So what do you got?
Well, lately I've been I've sort of got this bit of a sandbox universe in my head that I've been writing all these short stories in, and it's sort of set in this underwater city in a couple of 100 years in the future, and the city's filled with refugees, and I've created this about 15-hour playlist that starts from going down into this city and sort of seeing all the sights that the city has to offer, and then moving out slowly toward the edge of the dome, and things start to get a little darker and a little scary, and you start to realize some of the horrific truths that surround the very safety of this city, and sort of some ethical dilemmas, and then you eventually exit the city and get eaten by sea monsters.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's a I sort of put it all together quite painstakingly over a few months.
So was the music there just to sort of inspire you, or is it there in view of reading it and presenting it like a theatre piece?
It's more sort of it's more to inspire me, but because I write a lot of short stories in that world, and some of them are you sort of jump back and forth over 50 years or so. So
it's like a songline. It's like a series of songs or performances.
Yeah. It's more. This is more to do with the actual structure and the vibe of the city itself, and sort of listening to different parts of the playlist sort of gets me in the mood. And so in building this playlist, I've been really sort of extending my ears into sort of different areas of music that I haven't previously been that interested in, and I've sort of found a couple of weird things on my way. And one of them was this track by this guy called Chris Imler. No idea who he is.
Right.
I haven't got the foggiest idea about anything regarding this. I probably should have looked it up, but
doesn't matter. All the better.
and I just when I was listening to it for the first time, actually, I thought, it's an interesting one that Steve might find a little bit weird.
Okay. Good. Yeah, weird is good.
Yes, and the song's called "Disappoint Me."
Okay.
You never disappoint me. There's vitamins, they never disappoint me. There's fellow chins, they never disappoint me. Red penguins, they never disappoint me. Listen, I follow the smell. Listen, I follow the smell.
They never disappoint me, friends. They never disappoint me, enemies. They never disappoint me, radio shows and black holes where Mo's and souls go.
And it goes.
They never disappoint me, trauma triggers. They never ever disappoint me, treasure diggers, babysitters, father figures, neurotransmitters. And for emergencies, I got this melody from a hypnotist, and it goes like this.
Transmitter.
They never disappoint me. Sexual fantasies, silk flower power, and prayers for peace. Abandoned cemeteries, lucky charms and beauty farms, nicotine chewing gums.
Well, that would have to be one of the most unsettling tracks. It's very dystopian, and all that sort of disquieting, offbeat, asymmetrical sort of, interfacing there with the electronics. It was very, very, very powerful.
And there's something about that disembodied voice,
I
which is
know.
just,
I know,
see the
but
creeps.
It does. Everything's sort of removed. It's sort of floating. It's in the ether. It's, it's bizarre. It really is. It's really interesting. And I wonder what else. I wonder if all this music's like that. I suppose we don't know.
Yeah, I'm sort of intrigued to have a look. But it's. It certainly worked very well with the sort of dystopian nature of this playlist that I was aiming for. But every time I sort of listen to it, you feel a bit uneasy, a bit nauseous.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But fascinating way. I found it quite hypnotic. I was sitting there, especially on the speakers, and probably half the valley's listening. But it's deep. I mean, it's subterranean. It's sort of
And then punctuated by all those little computer noises.
I know, but they're sort of old world. It reminds me of listening to number stations and things, and
and the cadence of his voice is very much in line with that sort of that old kind of radio broadcasty voice.
Yes, it is definitely. Yeah, it's got that sort of feel, that Spartan feel. Yeah, it's fascinating. So thanks for that, Eo. Yeah, very, very unusual. I wouldn't say I listen to it a lot, but I think it's fit for purpose. It is what it is,
and it does what it sets out to do.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it puts you on edge. I was trying to work out the meter, but it's so asymmetric that it sort of it throws you off kills. Yeah, it does it well. Gosh, yeah. We'll have to hear more about your short. You have to come in and read one of your short stories.
Oh, God. At some point, when I'm actually happy with one of them, I
yeah,
will.
come in and read it.
Ooh,
Yeah,
maybe set it, have the some of the playlists going on in the background.
You could.
As I do.
That's right. I think that would be an interesting project. Make a pastiche. Readings with music, and we could put it all together.
Well, that sounds very similar to things we've done for a very long time in this studio.
Yes, way back, 15 years ago. Yes, we did a lot of that sort of thing. In fact, we've got hundreds of hours of you on mic and the kids. Yeah, when there was lots of creative storytelling. In fact, it was like a fantasy realm, wasn't it, here with stories?
Yeah, so it's sort of something, sort of striving to return to. I think it's something that's much easier to do in childhood. And as you sort of grow a little older, you sort of lose that impulsive creativity that just rambles on and on.
Yeah.
It's something you really have to discipline your mind to get back into as an adult.
Yeah, I found it utterly wondrous when just hearing you guys tell stories years ago, and I just love the whimsy and just anything could happen, and it was so just free spirited in every sense. And all I was thinking, I was just talking about this with Livy the other night, because she's really into Schiller, the artist, Egon Schiller, the expressionist German artist, and contemporary of Klimt. And I used to do that series. In fact, you're on lots of these too.
Oh, the artworks.
The artworks where we'd get a picture, we'd get a painting, and we'd just talk to it and make up a story. Often we'd look at the picture for a while first, or go and see it, and then just make up a story about it. And you guys come up with the most wonderful stories. It was fabulous. And but I remember quite a few of the pictures were Schiller's pictures, and it's interesting that many years later, Livy has come back to them and found really deep meaning. So I often wonder if there's some broader connection there.
Yeah,
Who
something
knows?
sort of unlocked in the subconscious there at a very young age.
Yeah,
appreciation.
Well, who knows? But I'm a great believer in storytelling and the whole narrative thing and flights of imagination. I think it's something we lose as adults, I think, unfortunately.
But I do think that even if that same sort of loose, that's the only way I can describe it. It's a very loose type of creativity, where the associations you create as you speak out loud are so wild and so far between each other, and that you sort of have as a child. And even if it's harder for us as adults to access that, I think certainly sort of talking and rambling on air and just sort of saying things without even thinking too much about where you're going with a tangent. I think that in itself is very much a form of that vein of creativity.
It is. It's very spontaneous, very serendipitous. And I suppose sort of moving on when you grew up and sort of moved on and I couldn't do the stories anymore, that's when I started doing these missions. And the whole idea was to sort of make the recordings sort of disheveled to the point where the whole enterprise could be quite spontaneous. So there wasn't too much organised. So it would just sort of be these, random records here and there, and then sort of narratives would form out of them. And that's been a bit of a theme. Yeah, but look, it's an interesting one. And so we've got lots of shared heritage, don't we?
I certainly don't think I'd be doing all the things I'm doing at Joy if I hadn't, sort of grown up and spent very early years in this particular studio.
In this room, there's not much room for people in here anymore, I'm afraid. That's the only shortcoming.
Yeah, I remember it being quite a lot more spacious when I was younger.
I'm afraid
there was quite a lot of room to dance in the studio, and now there's boxes of records.
I know, you can't see the carpet anymore. No, there is carpet underneath all these boxes of records somewhere. Yeah, all right. So where are we heading now?
Well, from a very kind of Spartan, weird, sort of disassociated sound to a very alive one. Returning again, surprise, surprise, to a bit of Ukrainian, one of my absolute favourite artists, particularly at the moment, Alina Pash, who I believe I've played on here a few times before.
I remember you mentioning Alina Pash.
Yeah, I think I've played a few of her tracks before, but I think this year I've gone on a real Alina Pash binge.
Okay.
Because she sort of does this really interesting folk merge with rap and electronic music, and really sort of creative, weird things. And it's a very specific style of music too. She comes from the Carpathian region, and sort of all her, those folk traditions are quite specific to that region. So, and even some of the dialects in which she sings. So it's very much grounded in a particular place. But yeah, there's this wonderful alive quality to all of her work that I find really invigorating.
Great, that's good to hear. I know the Carpathian area as well. Kate and I walked.
Yes.
For months and months, 3 months we walked in the Carpathian Mountains. Yeah. But
you might have seen, when were you there? What period of time?
2000, 1999, 2000, I think.
Maybe
we went back twice.
You might have run into a very, 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 very young Alina Pash.
You never know. Yeah. Well, when were you born? Because we were there when you were...
I was born in 2000.
Yeah, because we were there when you were born.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, we were halfway through a walk. And we went to a town in Slovakia, I think it was, or Romania, and we had to wait for about 3 hours to get the email through telling us it was primitive systems. But yes, that was the story. But yes, so we'll hear some Alina Pash in the Carpathian. So is she Slovakian or is she?
No, she's Ukrainian.
Oh, Ukrainian, right.
Yeah,
okay,
and the song is called Gentleman. Some of it's in English, some of it's in Ukrainian. She sort of really enjoys playing on that dynamic in her music, sort of balancing sort of Western cultural ideas of what Ukraine is with what, her personal, more realistic experience of Ukraine.
Sure. Okay. Oh, that sounds great. All right, we'll let you go. And we're testing, by the way, on 160. I'm vk3sl.
Yeah, I'll come to the show to show my trailer, I do some more. Yeah, I'm alright, my hair just fly, and you should come here on the floor. I'm a bitch like all those girls who has that honor in the blood. Yeah, it's alright, I hear just fly, and we will run that fucking world. Yeah, dancing beat on repeat, nobody wanna go. Nature moves that how it grows, you don't stop. One more, change your plans, gentlemen. Change your plans, yo, gentlemen. Change your plans, gentlemen. Change your plans, yo, gentlemen. Якого так чекали, про мене казаків читали. Йойкали, зойкали, нарікали на малу. Братики, розслабтеся, зараз добре навалю. Хештег, люби себе, більше в світі таких не є. Харі каже, таке ж саме ми. Прояви себе, джентльмен. Джентльмен, джентльмен, йо, джентльмен. Джентльмен, джентльмен. Джентльмен, йо, джентльмен. Йо, джентльмен. Йо, джентльмен. Йо, джентльмен. Йо, джентльмен.
Hey, we just say it's dish doing music.
Yeah, so I'm, if I've got some household tasks I really don't want to do, I've got some separate playlists for all of them. And this is on the dishes playlist.
It sounds good. Yeah, we're saying too, it's got a bit of sort of Mardi Gras vibe and Brazilian dance vibe as well.
Yeah, when I listen to this, that's my first thought is Brazilian Carnival, which is, I mean,
totally.
in some ways very different, but in some ways that's that rollicking beat, that sort of drives it, and you can see people dancing and moving.
Yeah, I know. It's elastic.
Yes.
Love the layering. Yeah, she's great. So it's Alina Pash. What a great name.
I know, it's really quite cool.
It certainly is. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, we're doing well.
And then, I guess from there to a name that, might actually be a bit familiar with, I think many people will be.
Okay.
And I've been sort of listening to her a lot lately, particularly her early stuff from the 90s.
Yep.
It's Bjork.
Bjork. Oh, yeah. Bjork. We haven't had any Bjork. I think we've had a little bit in the past, but not much.
I think Liv, maybe from Liv, possibly.
Yes, I think Liv might have played some Bjork, but hey, what a good choice. That'll be great. All right. So, what we got? Bjork. Is Bjork still going?
Yeah, she released an album a few months ago, actually.
Oh, really?
She's a great artist.
Yeah. So is she from Iceland? Is that right?
She is.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. So have you heard a bit of Bjork there, Frank?
Yeah, I have. I've got a Bjork album somewhere.
Oh, terrific.
Which one?
Which I admit was given to me, but I treasure it. It's lovely stuff.
Yeah.
It's so original.
Yeah.
Everything she does is her, and she doesn't repeat herself very much.
Yeah, isn't it interesting? Yeah, she's just a very fertile imagination. I remember she always, had a very distinctive, identity.
She does. She's extremely creative.
And it's all this very deep sense of authenticity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful stuff.
That's good. All right. So is this from a recent album, EO?
No. This is from her first album, which was released in, I want to say 90. It's either 93 or 95, I can't remember.
Yeah, she goes back a long way.
Yeah.
She's never lost her edge, has she?
No, well, and especially, this was so cutting edge at the time. This avant-garde pop, she really sort of heralded the beginning of that. People sort of didn't really know what to make of it. They knew it was good, but it was sort of like there's no frame of reference here.
That's exactly right. They had to adjust to her, really, didn't they?
Yeah, and she certainly never slowed down from there. Never gave anyone a chance to sort of rest and take it in.
Never took a backward step here.
I've got a friend. Steve, do you remember? Late last year-ish, I had a friend visit from the US, and I think they came round.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, Leo.
Okay. Yes.
And so Leo went to this private art school in New York, and actually was in the same year as Bjork's daughter.
Oh, really?
Oh,
okay.
And one time, so at school they were doing I think a theatre production, and Leo was working, in the stage crew, and Isadora Bjork's daughter, she was one of the lead roles, and Bjork couldn't make the actual performance. She's busy being Bjork. She had commitments, but she really wanted to come. So the school said, you can come watch one of the final rehearsals because it'll be pretty much done by then. And so they put on this rehearsal specially for Bjork, and Leo actually got to greet Bjork at the door and lead her to her seat.
Fantastic. That is a story. That's a close connection.
I know.
So you know someone who's met Bjork.
I'm 1 degree of separation away.
Yes. Yo, that gets impressive.
Yeah.
Good one. All right. We're eagerly await. What are we going to hear? What track have you chosen?
Oh, well, I was listening to this on the train when I was coming here, and I really love sort of this. It's a live recording, and from her first album. It's called "There's More to Life Than This."
Okay, sounds fantastic.
come on, girl. Let's sneak out of this party. It's getting boring. There's more to life than this. It's still early morning. We could go down to the harbor and jump between the boats and see the sun come up. We could nick a boat and sneak off to this island. I could bring my little ghetto blaster. There's more to life than this. But then we'd have to rush back to the town's best baker to gather first bread of the morning. There's more to life than this.
Okay. Bjork. And yeah.
That was Bjork live at the Milk Bar toilets, apparently.
Oh, is that right? I like the way she sort of just has this disembodied sort of, I don't know, line there. It's sort of
doing her own thing.
It certainly is. Yeah.
Wow. You don't care. I mean, it's all just her coming out, isn't it?
It is. It's this larger-than-life personality just doing stuff. And as you said, it's great train music.
Yeah, I do love listening to her on a late-night train going home.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
But there's certainly something to be said for that spirit of, it's 2 a.m. and you're having a really great time and you've sort of abandoned any care of, you sort of going inside and outside and wherever you want. There's this sort of alive spirit in you and something about the fresh night air.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, thanks for bringing up Bjork. I'm gonna circle Bjork and we'll listen to some. I just looked her up a minute ago, and it says she's been active since 1975. I mean, gosh, I didn't think she was from that way back.
I think she did some stuff as a child on television. In Iceland.
She must have.
She's not that old.
She's not that. She's about. I think she's younger than me. Yeah, but not the. But yes, there we go. That was good. Yeah, really good
fun.
Yay, thank you for that. Yeah, some Bjork. So, there's more where that came from.
Sort of heading to perhaps a bit of a warmer climate now. From Iceland to Turkey.
All right. Okay, we're doing the big the big travel log. We've had an evening of watching Olivia's travel pictures, and now we're on an audio travel journey. Livia was going to come in tonight, but she's so tired she went to bed. But she said she might pop in on Sunday afternoon, Frank. So,
that's great.
Yeah, so we'll catch up with her then.
Yeah.
So, yay. So, yes, Turkish music.
So, a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine is some really sort of fun, trashy pop bops, from sort of the Turkish scene in the mid 2000s. Yeah, there are a few pop divas from that era who I just love.
I know your feeling about pop divas.
There, the likes of Demet Akalın and Hande Yener and Gülşen. We will be listening to Gülşen tonight.
Oh my goodness! Okay, well, you just dropped your phone. Will we?
There we go. Yes, we will.
Okay. Okay, stand by, folks. We are lining it up, and I should mention that we're testing on 160 and on UHF, and we're streaming online as we do, and we're ready to go.
Ready to go with Gülşen's Sarışınım.
Kendini gel, yanıyor içim, eriyor içim eskisinden de beter. Gel gel sarışınım gel, gel sana aşığım gel. Gel gel gün ışığım gel, gel çok karışığım gel. Gel gel sarışınım gel, gel sana aşığım gel. Gel gel gün ışığım gel, gel çok karışığım gel. Kendini gel, yanıyor içim, eriyor içim eskisinden de beter. Gel gel sarışınım gel, gel sana aşığım gel. Gel gel gün ışığım gel, gel çok karışığım gel. Gel gel sarışınım gel, gel sana aşığım gel. Gel gel gün ışığım gel, gel çok karışığım gel. Gel gel sarışınım gel, gel sana aşığım gel. Gel gel gün ışığım gel, gel çok karışığım gel. Gel gel sarışınım gel, gel sana aşığım gel. Gel gel gün ışığım gel, gel 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 gel. Gel gel sarışınım gel, gel sana aşığım gel. Gel gel gün ışığım gel, gel çok karışığım gel. Gel gel sarışınım gel, gel sana aşığım gel. Gel gel gün ışığım gel, gel çok karışığım gel.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
It's fantastic. I love
So
the language.
atmospheric.
It is atmospheric, Frank. Yes, I know. And I love the sound of the language. I love its vowels. And
It's terrific. It rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It's just so guttural and full of solid vowels and yeah.
Turkish is up there as one of the languages I would love to learn the most. It's beautiful sound.
We're just having a chat while we're listening to about the what the ethnological, is that the right word? You know what I mean? The basis of the language.
Yeah.
And you're saying Kazakh and
Yeah, so it's part of the Turkic language family. It's sort of related to sort of this whole sort of string of languages from sort of stretching from Turkey through parts of the Middle East or through to Central Asia. So you've got, Kazakh and Uzbek and Kyrgyz. I believe Kurdish as well, Azeri. Tons and tons and tons of languages all sort of in that group.
So do you think they can sort of understand each other, or are they sufficiently different?
Depending on closeness. I know Kazakh and Kyrgyz are sort of mutually intelligible.
Yeah.
But say someone from Kazakhstan and someone from Turkey, they wouldn't be.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no, there's such a wonderful vibrance, and you just have to dance when you hear that music.
I know, it's so invigorating. It's marvelous. So you can be the DJ for our Turkish party.
Oh, well, I found out the other day that my favorite Turkish diva of all time, Demet Akalın, was actually in Melbourne in May, and I had no idea. And
EO.
Fat chance she's ever going to come back.
So you missed
so
the event.
Upset. Yes, around the same time that I also missed one of my favourite Serbian divas in Melbourne as well. Unbelievable.
Should have had them as guests on your program.
We should, because we play them quite a lot on
exactly.
Babble Pop.
That's what you play. I mean, wow.
Oh, yes, I was very cross with myself. I need to stay
on the pulse. Invite them in. Yeah.
I've got to stay more on top of these things, really.
yeah. That's great. I wonder what club was. It sort of like a smaller venue, or?
Yeah, it was specifically at a Turkish sort of music venue.
Sure.
Oh God, I should probably go anyway.
Yeah,
one of these days.
Yeah,
if they're playing that sort of music all the time. Oh my God.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
And the music videos from that period of time as well, also just marvelous. It's this really sort of mid-noughties fashion,
Yes.
bleach blonde straightened hair and the little low-rise jeans. And, oh my God, it's just wonderful.
You paint a picture. Okay, where are we going now?
On the train.
On the train.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
I've been listening to this a lot lately. It's by KLF, and it's a song that sort of around, I think, first recorded very late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, that was KLF's time.
Yes, and Frank, I'm guessing you might know this one. Last Train to Trans Central.
Yeah, I do actually. It's really good.
I've recently discovered it. Unfortunately, I was not around during the time when they were big. But this just rollicking, bizarre sort of almost opera of a song just has really intrigued me. I've been listening to it almost non-stop.
Really interesting group, KLF.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know very much, so please tell me more.
No, I don't know. I know. You'd know more than I, but I've just heard some of their tracks, and they're all really interesting. Yeah. They never kind of got to be as big as I thought they would in the Western, pop world.
Yeah,
they were big, but not. When they first came out, there were people saying they're going to be, like big as the Beatles and stuff like that. And of course, they never were. But they're their own group, and they're really worth listening to.
Wow, that's great. That's a great rap. Well, so what do you got? What do you got lined up there, Yo?
Well, the song is called "Last Train to Trans Central," and that's what it is.
That's what it is. All right,
All
we
aboard.
are ready to go. Hold your horses, folks.
Destination general, thoughts that seem to draw me, heading for Transcentral. Still I'm seeking something, and some things I am seeking in a carriage on the fast train of the last train to Transcentral.
We've been waiting for years, and now it's here. Last train to Transcentral. Last train. 'Cause 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 'cause
an angel sent to guide me. The searching will be over. The calm will now be gentle. In a carriage on the fast train of the last train to Transcentral. Justified ancients of Mumu, furthermore known as a chance. Liberation, frees the psyche, mind and body, equilibrium, balance feelings deep inside me. In the future or the present, the beginning or the ending. In a landscape, in my mind's eye, on a train where I'm headed. On a journey into insight, like a moth drawn to the lamplight, seeking out the inner station for my mental stimulation of the third eye, the whole world eye, the all-seeing and revered. I found a loophole, now I'm seeking all the answers to my prayers. On the first train of the last train, as I head into Transcentral. On the first train of the last train, as I head into Transcentral. On the first train of the last train, as I head into Transcentral. On the first train of the last train, as I head into Transcentral. Liberate and free the psyche. You know, balance my mind and my body. Cause this way I don't know whether I'm in the future or the present. This is the beginning or the ending. Although I know that things are incidental. The landscape may have been accidental. I'm still in a carriage on the fast train of the last train to Transcentral. Over and out.
Into the ether. Yeah, it's sort of like a parallel universe, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it is.
It's like this sort of other world, this sort of, it's...
You gotta let yourself go in with it. You know?
You do. You just get drawn into this sort of happening place. But you're describing the setting, or we're just talking briefly about the setting before. Yeah, what's the?
Yeah,
it's Transcentral's like the studio. Like
I had a little bit of a squiz. And yeah, it was Transcentral was the building where they were sort of recording all their music, and it like people would just sort of rock up and stay there for a week, and like one of their producers was squatting there for a while because he didn't have anywhere else to go, and it was just sort of this mad den of creativity.
Wow. Gosh.
Yeah, it just sounds like a weird place filled with sort of weird instruments, almost, I don't know, a bit I'm not sure what it was like inside, but I can imagine it might not have been too dissimilar to this studio.
Well, you flatter me. No,
Yes.
no, this is just a junk haven in here. There's boat anchors everywhere, but but I'm sure they, it's just got that epic quality, and it's got speeches, it's got ambience, it's all those weighted textures that sort of hypnotise the listener.
Oh.
Yeah, it was good. Nice to hear. Yeah. All right. Well, so we've got to have a couple more because we've got to try and finish up by 1:30, I think. As much as I'd like to keep going, but yeah.
Bed calls.
It does. So yes, I've got to turn in soon and get up early tomorrow morning. But so how are we zipping?
Well, sort of in a similar vein to a few tracks back, this is another one from that playlist that I was speaking about. This Underwater City.
Oh, yes.
And the track's called Well Turns, and it's by the name of I'm guessing it's a group or it's an instrumental track. I'm not sure if it's a group or just one person under this name.
Mm-hmm.
But they're called Rival Consoles, which is a bit of a Steve sounding kind of.
Well, we've got lots of Rival Consoles in here. We've got the RME desk, and we've got the back one behind me, and we've got a couple of delegation consoles here with various switching functions. But yes, back to the music.
Well, this is music, but more sort of machine sounds than anything else. It's
okay.
Wow.
So it's a bit of a mechanique. Music concrete, perhaps.
Here it is.
All right, let's find out. is a dose of binaural beats. It's absolutely hypnotic. I suddenly thought, where am I? Who am I?
Yeah.
that sort of moment of reality check at the end. All that phasing effect. So
it was good, wasn't it?
It's really clever. Yeah. And just that offbeat feel. It's that extrinsic beat.
Such gravity to it.
Yeah.
You just feel like you're being pulled into this orbit, like in the bowels of some massive engine.
Yeah, it's like that, isn't it? It's like being in a ship's inside the reciprocating triple expansion engine, doing some mechanized thing. It's fascinating. It is really hypnotic. It was a great choice. Wow,
so it really does something to, I think, that sort of lizard brain, doesn't it? Really lulls you into something.
I know, something primordial. Incredible. Yeah, gosh. Okay, that's going to bring us up to that was our penultimate.
Our final track.
Our final one. So we'll have to say our cheerios, and then we'll play this as a right out.
Yes.
So, and so, all right, we'll start off by saying thank you. Thanks, and thanks to you, Frank, too, for sharing the experience. This was very, very spontaneous. In fact,
glad of the opportunity.
It was really good. Was this it happened really spontaneously because EO was coming out tomorrow night for Sydney's birthday.
I got the date wrong.
EO got the date wrong and came out tonight instead of tomorrow night. And it just worked out really, really well.
Lucky accident.
Yeah, you picked the right night. So it was really good to have you, and thank you for sharing your. I'm always completely enthralled by your playlist. It's not music I usually hear at all. So I find it just invigorating and just
Oh, thank you.
It's an
love
exciting
coming on.
It's an exciting tangent. So good stuff. Appreciate it. Yay. Yeah. All right. So we've got our last one, which is...
I figured I'd take us out by listening to some Afro beats.
Oh, cool.
Which I've been really getting into lately.
Oh, it's great stuff.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And so who we hearing?
Well, this is from what I can gather, this is from a collaborative album between two artists, Kabza De Small and DJ Mafarisa. And they've also got quite a few other artists featuring on the track. There's Nigelic, Young Stunner, Nkosazana Daughter, and Sholani Guitars.
Okay.
And the song is called Nana Thula, and it's in Zulu. And I don't know, something about this music just... I find it really, at the same time, very relaxing and very invigorating. Very sort of, I don't know, I feel like it touches a part of me very deep inside. That I just feel...
because it's very deep inside music. It's primal sort of music.
Yes, it is, isn't it? It comes from the heart. Yeah.
It's a terrific program on Sunday afternoons on PBS. I think it's from 2 till 4 of African music from all different parts of Africa.
Oh, really?
I often listen to it.
That sounds great. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, 2 to 4 Sunday on PBS. I will listen out for that.
It's great.
PBS, if I'm doing stuff, I will listen. Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you for that, Frank. That's a great suggestion. So, Frank, we'll do our usual thing tomorrow. It'll be a short missions tomorrow.
And you've got the birthday.
Yeah, we've got Sydney's birthday, and I think guests are arriving at 5:30. So I'll probably just have a quick call in, and just might play something for the remainder of it. But I will touch base tomorrow, and then Livy said she will come along on Sunday, so that should be good. So, it's been a wondrous journey, EO, so thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
And just a quick word, we've been testing on 160 and on UHF. Yeah, and vk3sl test missions, tone test to validate volume and clarity. Okay, all right. Thanks, EO. Let's take us out with some African beats. Thanks, folks. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch us next time.
Cheers.
Cheers for now.
All the best.
All the best to you too.
Batunta lukona uzonibona njengelukusobolana Enizotwala ngizefike nginekhalizana Ngela yinde tabasize ngenonwabena Enozefike emazulwini umndeni uyiqhenya